Most people stop at vanilla, but turning any flavor into the perfect ice cream is a lot simpler than you think. And to prove it, we're making a black sesame matcha ice cream while breaking down the simple science that makes every ice cream work. We're starting with a custard-styled ice cream base, which means we're using egg yolks. No, it's not going to taste like eggs, but the yolks are what give the ice cream that smooth and rich texture. We're going to start by adding 2 cups of heavy cream, 1 cup of whole milk, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt into a saucepan. Heat this over medium heat, continuously stirring so it doesn't scorch on the bottom until it hits 170 degrees Fahrenheit, being careful not to bring it to a boil. If you overheat it, the milk proteins start to denature, and you'll end up with a grainy ice cream later on. Once it's at the right temp, whisk together 4 egg yolks in a separate bowl, and slowly temper them by streaming in the hot cream while stirring constantly. We want to ease the yolks into the hot cream or else we'll be left with scrambled eggs. Once tempered, pour everything back into the pot. Now we're going to gently heat it to 180 degrees Fahrenheit while stirring constantly. This is where the egg yolks thicken slightly and give us that rich custard-like texture. As you continue to heat the mixture, you will notice it getting thicker the hotter it gets. It's vital that you continue stirring during this step or else the bottom will overcook and scramble. With our custard at the right temperature, now comes the fun part. This is when you can add any liquid, paste, or powdered flavorings. Take the ice cream mixture off the heat and stir in the flavors of your choice. Anything chunky like Oreos or chocolate chips comes later. Right now, we're flavoring the liquid ice cream base itself. For today's batch, we're going with 2 teaspoons of matcha powder and 3 tablespoons of black sesame paste for a classic Japanese combo. But you can really go wild here. I've seen people use peanut butter, espresso, and even applesauce. After adding in your flavorings, we're going to pass the base through a fine mesh strainer. This catches any bits of egg yolk that might have overcooked, keeping the texture nice and smooth. Try not to force the mixture through the strainer, instead gently stir it so that no large clumps get passed through. Now we need to cool down the ice cream base to around 60 degrees Fahrenheit before churning it. I'm just going to pop it in the fridge for 30 minutes to chill, or you can cool it quicker using an ice bath. If you add the hot cream to the ice cream maker, the frozen core will melt, causing the cream to overchurn before freezing. Cooling the ice cream base also allows the custard to thicken slightly, improving the texture later on. Once chilled to around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, pour the base into your ice cream maker and churn for about 20 minutes or until it reaches a stiff, soft-serve consistency. Every ingredient in the ice cream base has a job. The egg yolks contain lecithin, a natural emulsifier that helps blend fat and water, thickens the custard, and prevents large ice crystals from forming. Sugar obviously adds sweetness, but also lowers the freezing point, keeping the ice cream soft and scoopable instead of rock hard right out of the freezer. Heavy cream brings that smooth mouthfeel and traps air during the churning process, giving ice cream its light and fluffy structure. Milk balances out the fat to water ratio, and the milk proteins add structure to the ice cream. Without it, your ice cream would be heavy and stick to your mouth like butter. Together, these 4 components create the perfect harmony of texture, flavor, and structure, resulting in that perfect scoop of ice cream. Once your ice cream is done churning, it should look like a stiff soft serve, kind of like this. Scoop the ice cream off the paddle and transfer it into an airtight container. I like to leave the container I'm going to use in the freezer for a few minutes so that when I place the ice cream in it, it doesn't melt right away. We're going to set this bad boy in the freezer for at least 2 hours or overnight for the best texture. Alright, this batch has had a couple of hours to chill, so let's go grab a scoop and see how it came out. To get those perfect scoops of ice cream, I like to dip my ice cream scooper in some hot water for a couple of seconds. Look how creamy and delicious that looks. I'm topping it with a sprinkle of black sesame seeds for some extra texture and color. Let's give it a taste. That is so tasty. That is so creamy. If you're a fan of matcha and sesame, you're gonna love this. Wow. The texture is super light and still rich and velvety. This might be my new favorite ice cream flavor, even though it kinda looks like cement. Now you know how to build an ice cream base that can become virtually anything you dream up. Black sesame matcha, Thai iced tea, or even just classic vanilla. If you like today's recipe, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!